Yeah, extremely happy again. Had a mission to accomplish. I stuck to my game plan. I executed, and I did everything I wanted to. So it was a great day at the office, and lots to be proud of.
I was going to say, do you feel like you're a man on a mission?
Yeah, look, I think I'm in a good headspace. I've got very clear thoughts in my mind once I'm on the tennis court. I know what I want to accomplish, what I want to do, and it's always great when you can execute as well. So I think what I'm bringing is the kind of energy, intensity from the first point till the last, and it's been showing because it's been really helpful to keep my level throughout the whole match.
Unforced errors, you basically hardly had any. I think there was 5 in the first 2 sets, and the final, not many. Yeah, so you've got to be pretty stoked with that.
Yeah, very happy. I think I would say the majority of my unforced errors were probably double faults actually. But yeah, I knew obviously the game plan against someone like Jarry, who's got such big weapons, is to try to neutralise him and try to find kind of a healthy balance between kind of pushing the ball and still being somewhat aggressive without missing. And I think I found that line today, and it was great just to keep applying that pressure. And if he wanted to win the point, then he was going to have to come up with some amazing winners, and it didn't discourage me. I just kept on, played the next point, and did it all over again.
Well, how have you found the court speed? Because the 3 different courts, have they been different pace?
It's tonight I thought it was a little bit quicker, that court 17. I think, if anything, I would call it a little bit slick. So that's what I felt. But yet again, kind of started my match during the day, and then we got into the night, and that kind of changes the conditions as well. So I think I did pretty well to kind of be ready for that. Experience ultimately had different tensions, ready for if the night got a little bit slower, if the conditions got slower, colder, all these things. So I was ready to go.
You mentioned being in a good headspace right now. Looking back in your career, at least the past 4, 5, 6 years, would you say this is the best you've been in terms of kind of mental acuity, sharpness going into matches and stretches of matches as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's I can comfortably say that. Over the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, I've been extremely solid and kind of always been tough to beat, and kind of it's shown year-end ranking-wise, right? I've been around that 20 mark kind of year in and year out, and I think probably the biggest difference is I've stepped it up a notch, especially recently, and at the same time, I've not let it be just 1 week. Just the odd week that I've kind of closed my eyes and played unbelievable tennis. I just showed it week after week, and I'm happy with that. So it's a good spot to be in.
Alex, what did Adolfo say about this? Because that was a tremendous performance to beat Nico like that, the way that you did, and raising your level even higher than the already high levels that you played this summer. What did he assess about your performance?
Yeah, he was very happy. I mean, ultimately, I think there's not a lot of people that have more confidence in myself than he does, than Adolfo does. And often we get to these matches, and he's always kind of telling me that if I bring my A game, that I'm going to be very tough to beat. So he tries to instill that into me just to show what I can do day after day, and kind of impose myself as a player as well, as the player that I am, and just show it from the first point to the last. So
you just said about stepping things up in more recent times. What have you stepped up the most? What's been the biggest change in development?
It's probably tough to kind of say just one thing. I think ultimately is it's a bit everything. It's kind of every time I'm stepping out on court, I've got a purpose. I think I'm being a bit more aggressive as well. I'm going after my shots. I'm not letting people dictate me too much, and obviously there's that sense of belief as well that maybe in the past at times, as good as I am mentally, there were times where I would maybe lose confidence because I lost one match or a couple tough matches here and there. But at the moment, I'm just backing myself at every stage of the match.
The Court 17 atmosphere. I talked to Sasha, Maria Sakkari, Rebecca Maximova about this, and Yelena Ostapenko, and they said it always had like a weed smell to it because it's next to the park. You obviously dealt well with those conditions today and played as solid as you do, as well as at a high level. What were those conditions like in the crowd atmosphere?
Yeah, well, it always amazes me here in New York. I've played a couple Chilean players in the past, and the crowd support they get is crazy. You almost feel like you're playing in Chile. So, I mean, kudos to them from the first point till the last. They were rowdy. They were getting behind Nico, and yeah, it was a fun atmosphere to play in. And ultimately, I'm happy I didn't give them too much to cheer for.
Sorry, you could.
I was going to say, Medvedev or Baez next. What do they both present? Obviously, you've had a fair bit of experience against Danielle, but
yeah. Look, Baez is extremely hot right now. He's coming from winning in Winston, and on a short turnaround, backing it up here. So he's obviously been finding his form and playing some great tennis. Is extremely solid. Won't give you any too many cheapies, and I think he's got a great forehand as well. So he's an extremely solid player. And then I think we all know Daniil. He's an extreme kind of counter-puncher, defense specialist, finds ways to bait opponents into playing the game style he wants. So he's a extremely good tactician, and whenever you play him, you got to be ready for an absolute chess battle, and from start to finish.
You beat him the last two occasions. Do those come into play on this occasion if it is Medi, or is it's totally different because it's a major and it's best of 5 as well?
Not too sure, can't tell you. Haven't played him in a major yet, so this is going to be a new experience for both of us. And if anything, it's just going to show that it's going to be a long match, right? I'm sure there's going to be chances both ways, so it's about who kind of hangs around, sticks around, fights till the end, and finds a way. I'm expecting an absolute battle.
I'm sure you've been asked this a few times, so I'll try to come at it at a little bit of a different angle. How has your relationship with Katie made you better even off the court, and or how does that manifest itself on the court compared to maybe 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think as time has gone by, we've obviously gotten to know each other a lot more, and for me, a big thing that I admire a lot about Katie of how she acts and how she gets herself up during matches. I think her philosophy is something that I envy in a way, right? I think she is very positive. She doesn't take tennis matches for granted. She doesn't mind the results. She goes out there, competes, and enjoys herself, right? And I've learnt a lot from that, to be honest. For me, I'm probably on the other spectrum, I would say. Like, I live and die by the sword, and matches do hurt me in ways. And over the years, I've learned to kind of, as much as it's hurt in the moment, I can kind of get off the court and the moment I spend some time with Katie, we're both able to kind of forget about it and move on. And it's helped me a lot to not have to linger with some of these matches, and I've been able to kind of, pass the page and move on and look forward to the next challenge.
It was a positive tournament for her as third round of US Open the first time, despite her battling against Peyton just now and being able to still make these progress steps. Just your thoughts on just how she continues to ascend with her tennis right now, as well as staying healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I've just was talking to her before, and look, it's amazing. I'm so proud of her. Like, just to think where she was 2-3 years ago, right? I've seen her struggle with her body. Just, I've always known she's had this unbelievable level, and she definitely belongs up there with the top in the world. And it's so great to see her do it week after week. Over the grass, she broke out, and it's not easy to back it up. And she's come over the summer and shown she can do it on the hard courts as well. And honestly, I think it's only the beginning, and that's what I told her. She's a little bit down, but I think she's going to get a lot more chances, and it's going to be great seeing her climb up the ranking.
And speaking of chances, New York Jets, you were throwing the ball around and having a good time. Are you a big NFL fan like that? And who's your team by any chance?
Oh, that's actually the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. I've really gotten myself into NFL. We've got a couple fantasy leagues, and since that, it's basically it's all we talk about. I mean, we are pretty hardcore into it, so it was quite fun my first experience to do anything like that, and just to be shown around the Jets facility and meet some of the players, and ask a couple of the players if I should draft them in my fantasy team. So it was pretty funny, and I definitely enjoyed it.
With the American Players Fantasy League?
So there's actually a lot of Aussies are in the league. So we've got a couple of tennis players in this tournament. We're in a league, and yeah, it gets pretty competitive. So I mean, the season is 16 weeks long, but for us it's almost about 40 weeks because there's a lot of prep going in, that's for sure.
A word on Rinky and having company in the last 16.
Rinky, he's amazing. I'm so happy to see him shine. I've grown up with him. I've seen him develop. I've seen him recently, feel like, he was struggling a little bit mentally. He just was outside 100 for a while, just couldn't break through, and just to see him put his head down, go about his business, he just get the job done. And geez, I would have loved to make the fourth round of a slam after, I think, maybe 3 chances. I'm not too sure how many he's had, but it's amazing to see him do that. And both of us coming from Sydney, we're kind of holding up the blue ball.